Wow. I assume we're live. We are. I didn't see the rest of the intro, but hey, we're here nonetheless. Welcome back to I Heard Things, episode 5. We took a couple weeks off there. Valinor wasn't feeling too well last week. I was under the weather the week before, but we're here. We have succeeded where others have failed. Pretty soon, Chris Plugs will be joining me. Not right now. Right now, I have to talk about the things that are on my mind. What's my beef? My beef right now is about New York, specifically New York City. All I hear, I hate New York. Hello, Matt Morello. I don't like New York. Oh, there's a commies going to be running New York. Now, again, I'm not going to talk about politics, but when has the mayor ever been good in New York? You can't get any worse. I mean, they're all corrupt. They all mismanage the money. I love New York City. I'm sorry. And everybody says how unsafe New York. Yeah, there is unsafe parts of New York. You go to East New York, you go down to the Bronx, you're probably going to get killed. That's the reality. But it's not as, this isn't like 1974 New York. This isn't an escape from, this isn't, the Bronx and the Bronx is burning. This isn't that, but I was there in 1975 in the Bronx. I used to pick my aunt up from the Eden Wall projects. Still probably one of the worst sections in New York. But New York has a lot to offer. A year ago, I went down to the Bowery. The Bowery used to be like a total, you don't want to go down to the Bowery back then. The Bowery, I'm safe. I'm not fearing for my life. I'm not getting offended that pot smoke is everywhere. Pot smoke is everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. You're in the car. I'm on a freeway. Thank you, Matt Morello. Thank you. And I am working on your rant thing. Your stuff is not gone to waste. It's just been I hit with a fucking clusterfuck of shit to get through. You know me. Life as an entertainer is rough. So anyway, everybody's New York. I love New York. I've been to every major city in this country, and I could tell you right off the bat, there is a vibe in New York City that is none other. Okay, Chicago's got a bit of it. Okay, Vegas has got its vibe, but that's for a different reason. And now Vegas not doing so well right now as far as the tourism goes. But Chicago's the only one that comes close. All right? So if you fucking turds all want to move to Florida, God bless. Go down there. Go down to die. I still want to go to New York City and see the sights and feel the electric from time to time. I'm an older gentleman now. I don't have the wherewithal to go to the city all the time, but I don't like you putting down. I got a certain amount of pride. What happened to 9/11? Didn't we have pride then? I don't know where I'm going with this. So that's the first topic I wanted to talk about. And Halloween is upon us. Was it tomorrow or something? I don't know. What's the Halloween etiquette nowadays? Are you allowed to? Now, I saw something about maybe I'll bring my guest on because I need clarification. I need Balor to help me out there. But there's like a special pumpkin for autism kids. I don't know. Well, let me bring on my guest first before we get into this. The great Chris Plugs. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back, Ed. Especially after the debacle of last time.
Well, listen, you have to. You got to go. We went through a little run through. We got the glitches out now. Now we're copacetic. Now we're ready to talk.
And I want to start by telling you I fully agree with the New York and Chicago thing because I got family. We've talked about that. My New York heritage is absolutely as prominent as my ethnic heritage. You know what I mean? I am so blessed to have been from here during our era where we grew up with that. And it was a little bit more of the Wild Wild West back then. But Chicago's got a vibe, and I dig it. So
yeah, no,
Chicago, but
I get it.
know,
I mean, you may have missed. I mean, Times Square used to be a fucking disaster.
well, you know what's funny? Like, so I have kids, as you know,
Right.
and they're older, and they're going. Especially my daughter, she's a chef, she's a big foodie. She goes into the city all the time, and I feel like I'm relaying lessons to them that may not be relevant anymore. You know, everything from how to act on the subway, looking over your shoulder without making it look like you're looking over your shoulder, where to put your money, this, that. And these are all things. This is how we grew up. And my son had said to me, he's like, Dad, he's like, I don't think it's that dangerous anymore. And I was like, you have no idea what I grew up.
Right.
Just trust me. You know what I mean? And especially with my daughter, because it's two different lines. When you have a boy, he might just get mugged. He might get one time or whatever. You don't
want no.
My daughter might have something weird happen. I mean, now anything can happen to anybody, obviously, but my daughter is not unattractive. You know what I mean? And she has very attractive friends, and that's who they roam with. And it's kind of like, well, you're just asking for it from our era.
Right.
What are you going to do? This is the Brooklyn kid that's now on the lot. I mean,
right.
I knew the rules, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, but I'm very proud of my New York. And as you saw, I think when we were at the show, I was wearing the hoodie with the pigeon, with the kicks, the Adidas kicks, and it says, I miss the old New York. And that's a movement from old guys that just kind of, it's more an anti-gentrification take.
Right. That's more
is really more where it's coming from. Because honestly, like, I was so funny when I grew up at, coming out here, I remember hearing other kids from like, Queens, and they'd be like, well, I'm from Queens. What are you going to do? And I'm like, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to beat the shit out of you and leave you in a field. Like, what the fuck do you think you are? But kids back then used to act like it was hard that they were from a borough or they were from Manhattan,
right.
What have you. And that's just not the case anymore. Now I'm like, dude, your whole area is a bunch of, friggin' pussies, because
yes. I mean,
they're all hipsters now, Yes. But I fully agree with the Chicago. Absolutely love my Chi-Town guys, and
I don't like the overall fear mongering of how bad the city is. I don't like that. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if it's and I don't want to dip into the political system.
No, and that's the thing. It is a political response.
Yeah,
but it's a push to both sides with this play on it, the antithesis being this, and then they're into, that's what they want. A lot of it is that they want you to believe that. Yet I have friends that travel here from all over the world, and then they hit me up like, oh my God, I love New York. It's expensive as hell, but everyone's so nice. I love when they tell me the New Yorkers are the nicest people. And I'm like, we are professional assholes.
Right.
We take pride in that. I always think of Ghostbusters, where he's like, it's every New Yorker's God-given right to be miserable.
Right.
And it's out that we're miserable. We got no time for bullshit. You know what I mean? And so do it. So
I just, and also it's just, I don't know. I'm very proud of the city. And I think also when we went to the city back when, I look upon those days with almost like a badge of courage.
Yes.
That being from Long Island, I was scared of that when I used to go to see shows in the city, and I would see these guys, the hardcore guys. I was scared of them because they were full. They were fucking jacked up. They had tattoos. They were like men when I was the same age. And I kind of got a respect for them. Like you like, and you survived.
Yeah.
Whatever that was, you survived. You got into the city. You took the train. You took that. Yeah. And,
well, to this day, like it's a thing passed down with lineage, because my pop on my father's side was, a city of Brooklyn. We're all from Brooklyn and everything. The fact that I immediately, almost instinctually, can navigate the subway system, it is a badge of honor for me. You know what I mean? Considering that I didn't have to walk those streets every day and do all that, but I know that. And I hear so many people all the time like, oh my God, I get lost in the subways. I'm like, how? Just knowing general direction and stuff. And it was a badge of honor. Absolutely was. And I was one of those hardcore kids, but we would see even bigger, bolder, hardcore kids, And it also was a statement of the bands too, because those bands emulated without a doubt, more aggressive and more violent lifestyle.
Yeah, they were living it. Like
They were
a
living
lot
it.
of them was squatting. A lot of them
Oh
were
yeah.
kids on the street. And here comes, Eddie from fucking Lake
Yeah.
Ronkonkoma, is living with his parents, but is attracted, is it gravitates towards the
Everything
music.
was different. Even like the guys that I knew, like the alcoholic guys in there, the drug addict guys. Again, it was like an aggressive alcohol. It was an aggressive drug addict. Like I knew dope heads out here, heroin guys out here, but like they were softer. You know what I mean? Like whatever it was. And it was definitely like a wild lifestyle. And not just even from hardcore shows, but like I was big into raves back in the 90s. We used to call them parties. And 90s parties in New York, which was the epicenter, happened in illegal abandoned warehouses. You would get a flyer with like 30, 40 phone numbers on the bottom.
I remember this.
Two of them were like legit. You'd have to call. I remember one of the parties I went to, literally, I was given the tip number, had to call that within 15 minutes of my arrival. The guy posted to another number. That number posted me to another. I'd make 4 phone calls. And then when I got a beep, when the kid heard my pager go up, he came and got me and they brought me in the door. All of this by today's standards reeks of I'm going to be eviscerated and my skin's going to be used.
Right. They're going to be
this was absolutely any other Tuesday back in the day.
You're going to wind up in a bathtub with one of your organs missing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that was just very normal back then, and you feigned concern, and I slipped my money in my shoe underneath, like like you kind of knew things.
Right. Now,
you knew if guys were walking up on you, how you handle stuff, Now,
with your kids now, what's their experience in the city now?
So my kids' experience primarily is from Philadelphia, if I can kind of diverge. And the reason for that is because of the competitions, the Irish step dancing.
Right.
Our regional competition is always in Philadelphia. Now, I'm, a massive football guy. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan my whole life.
Yes.
Giants family, but I'm the Eagles guy,
Yes, I know.
So I've spent a lot of time up in Philadelphia, and I got to tell you, Philadelphia is just rocketing its way to hell right now. It is falling apart.
Yeah. It's an old city. I mean, obviously.
Oh, it's crazy with the drugs and everything else. It's crazy. So my kids their first experience in the city was we did one competition in Manhattan. And then that same year is when we started going up to Philly. And that's been like 10, 12 years from that. My son has been, into the city a couple times. My mom did this like, let's get her, because she has me and my brother, let's get the sons together and we'll get the grandkids together and we'll do like a play in the city and, dinner and drinks and all that kind of stuff. So they went in for that. But again, that's like protected environment because my son definitely knows like, my dad is an old school city kid. Like we're good, and my wife's a bad bitch. I mean, she can handle her own. So, we're fine with that, and going in the city. And that's one of the things that strengthened our relationship, so we did that thing. And then, as they've gotten older, my daughter goes to a lot of shows. And so she's in Brooklyn and Queens quite a bit. She's a chef. She spotlights at various restaurants in Manhattan quite a bit. Was offered several jobs, realized the travel just wasn't where it needed to be. My son has the same kind of outlook I have. I have no invested reason to ever go back to Manhattan, but I will. Right. So I think you, especially being in the same age group, I think you might kind of know where I'm going with this. Like if back in the day, before eBay, before Amazon, before the internet, right? If I needed something,
you wanted to sit
whatever, and it wasn't on Queens Boulevard.
Right.
So you can get everything on QB, you went to Manhattan, you know what I mean? And especially me being into like independent movies, there were guys that sold that.
If you wanted a niche thing, you
niche
had to go into Manhattan again.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
Whether you went to action figures or whatever, there were specialty stores.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That you could go to in the city.
And I, especially for me in the 90s, I was big into anime. And that was not what it is today. It's not that popular. You had to look. And again, I was into, rave music and stuff too at the same time. So I was going to record stores, DJs of that field, in the party field, whatever branch of it they were in, you could get the demos and the records there. We did have a spot in Massapequa, but it was different. It was Caffeine Records was was over in Massapequa, when they had Bug Girl, which was the fashion. But if I wanted the clothes, you know what I mean? I want to look the representation. I love the way the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, we had labels, like, oh, you look at that guy. That guy's a dirtbag. That guy's a jock. That guy's a punk kid. I love that. I want to have the uniform. I want to represent what I'm into. And so I'd have to go into the city. Now, you
don't really know what anybody's going to do.
I look on eBay. I look on fucking Amazon.
I don't know why.
You want to know? I thought about this the other day because I was thinking of you, because I saw some crazy sports thing pop up, and it was this wild piece of art that was like a Rangers piece of art. I was trying to screenshot it, and my wife is a Rangers fan, so it is what it is. But I just tapped on it to look at it, and now the algorithm is pushing me into all these other avenues. So now it's even more explosive, and now it's more outlets for me to get all that stuff. And that's yet another reason why I just, I'll go in for an event or something to that effect. I've been to Bowery Electric a couple times, different people I've known played there. But that's about it. I don't really go in much anymore, So,
well, I just want to say,
love it.
Stop bashing New York, you stupid. Whoever the politics, the mayors have always sucked.
Politics is killing everything.
I know. From Mayor Lindsay to Mayor Beam to fucking he was the governor. To fucking Ed Koch to fucking all these guys were bums. Dinkins, bum. Remember that guy?
Oh yeah.
I don't even live there. Yeah. I got no, but I can tell you they're all jokes.
Yeah.
So I don't care. I'm still gonna go into the city.
It's wild how much fire is on the internet right now about this mayoral race, and we live 40, 60 miles from New York. I'm not even affected. The whole world is concerned about this mayoral race. I'm like, where am I getting my next egg sandwich? There's nothing about
New York is going to be New York no matter who's running.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But we move on.
All right, we're going to move on from this because we both had our say on this, and we must move on.
New York, baby.
New York, motherfucker.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Now, I was talking about Halloween, and come on, me and you, we love. Look at all the candies. Look at all the candies, ladies and gentlemen. Candy.
The Halloween, the treat bags. Oh my God.
Oh man, this is me and you both love Halloween. We love everything from our youth.
Yeah.
We love. Oh, look at the colors. I mean, this is what life is all about. The assortments of candy and.
I am so susceptible to marketing like this. I'm not even kidding you.
You know what I used to do? You see this big red gum in here? I used to color out the R, so it would say Big Ed.
Yeah. Ah, Big Eddie. There you go.
Bubble Yum.
Do they still? That's the Wrigley gum. Do they still make those? Like Double Mint and Juicy Fruit and
DNK. No candy. Come on, Gus. Oh, no costume, no candy.
Oh, no costume, no candy. Absolutely.
Yeah, they always.
No, that 100%.
Really, you will not, like, some kid will come to your door, knock, and he said, "Hey, you got no costume," and he's got like he comes with those kids used to come with the fucking like a pillow cover, like a pillow. What do they call those?
Oh, as the treat bag.
Yeah, yes, it's treat.
No, I went around with pillowcases. Absolutely,
you did pillow.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude! It's a sack. You can fill it up more. You don't have to go back home to cut out.
You wore a costume now, right?
Oh, I always wore costumes. I still wear costumes. I'm going to be posting a picture of the costume I wore to work today. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I know you're busy. And listen, God bless that you're into Halloween still. Yeah. I just can't take it anymore.
Well, you know what it is, man? So I'm a weirdo. You know what I mean? And not that weirdos gravitate.
A lot of people embrace Halloween.
I from the start point of this is free candy as a kid, leading up to the teenage years of the girls look absolutely banging in costumes, right?
Oh yeah.
Which then led me into my 20s hosting parties, which some of my parties were absolutely legendary. And I love the vibe. I love the weather. I love the color scheme.
I love the weather.
Smells. I love everything about it. What other holiday am I going to do this with? Like, I mean, I could with Christmas in theory, but the thing is, truthfully, and we could probably talk about that another time as we get closer to Christmas, because I do actually have a legitimate Santa story. But like it really, as you get older with Christmas, it becomes so much about family and just kind of hang with the family. And all of those monumental in between years from when I basically graduated high school, and the gifts kind of dwindle down because now you're an adult and it's not.
Yeah, we're not getting excited over getting a fucking pair of socks.
Yeah. And then
when I was a kid, I had kids, the AFX fucking cars and all that shit. I was happy as a kid. Sorry.
I had kids 10 years later, and then but they're babies. So until they're like maybe 2, 3. And then Christmas picks back up again because it becomes all about them. Halloween is a constant, and I used to tell people my 2 favorite holidays were Halloween and July 4th, because I love fireworks and I love carnivals. I love amusement parks. So that was always July 4th summers. And I just genuinely love Halloween,
What the hell is a rain blow? That sounds like something.
Rain blow is great, dude.
What is a rain blow?
Rain blows were they were like pseudo gum. You know what pseudo gum is? There was a lot of that.
I don't know. Pseudo gum doesn't really get me as far as
pseudo gums were like that category is like the chewables, like the fruit chewables. Technically, like Skittles is like the king of that kind of thing, but rain blows they were like little chip gums. I want to say they were more like chiclets, but yeah, they're little gumball things. And then they used to also make them in like a little disc form. But Rainbow is the gumball machine gumball, where all the gumballs taste the same.
When I was in the city on 42nd Street in 1984, I think I got a rainbow.
Hey, we're not talking about old New York back then. We're gonna get through
we're back to that.
All of these
I was not aware of the rainbow phenomenon. Gus is in the chat room. Gus, are you going to be handing out candy or the parental units, or you're just basically going to hide? I don't know. Well, Matt Morello is moving apparently. Oh, no, okay. So I'm looking at some of these other
Clark
candies.
Bars, one of my faves.
What do you like?
Clark bars.
I like Clark bars.
They're similar to Butterfingers, but in my opinion, significantly better. They're a little more wafery, and they have way more actual peanut butter. And I love.
You're quite the connoisseur here. I think I didn't explore too much of my candy life. A lot of these candies I did not participate. I liked Milk Duds, but those would kill your cavities.
So
they would take out fillings. Those things.
I think part of my love for Halloween was because, like, when I was growing up, whereas my parents, kind of in the end of the race kind of thing, they have all the money in the world. In the early days, my father was a teacher, and they weren't really hiring male teachers, so he made next to nothing. So, I mean, it's not like we were poor per se, but like, they weren't spending money on crap. You know what I mean? So when we would be in the store and I would see all this candy, it wasn't like we were getting it. So Halloween comes around, and now, all the neighbors are giving everything out. You know what I mean? And certain people like to make statements during Halloween. Like, that's why I don't give candy with no costume, no candy, because my wife makes these banging snack bags, filled with fucking candy of an assortment. I mean, dude, you're getting hooked up. You come to our house. So I would be able to experience a lot of these from Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, oh yeah, I've had that kind of thing. You're like mentally collecting, like, I've had it now, I've had this. And the other thing was, like, my mother's parents were, diabetic, so they weren't keeping candy at that house. Ironically, my dad's side, my Nana, smoking body on this woman. She was so fit.
Wait. Your grandmother was hot?
Yeah, no, my Nana was. She was.
Wow, I would have cared.
I would have visited her several times. I'm just calling it how it is. She was just fit, beautiful woman all the way throughout her whole life. She loved sweets. Woman loved sweets. She would like when they would be babysitting me, she would just be feeding me chocolate, and my mom would come pick something. There'd be like chocolate running down my face. It was ridiculous.
So your nana was she was a gilf.
She was.
Grandmother,
yes, yes. Yeah.
Oh well, all right.
Her and all of her sisters were. It was incredible. They were like breathtaking until the day they died. I hope to have
great, man. Good genes. Good genes.
Yeah.
So I was starting to talk about I go through the internet. It's I take a journey every time I log on, and I saw they got these special pumpkins for autistic kids. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, they're tactile pumpkins.
I know tactile has something to do with the feel.
Touch,
right?
Touch, yes.
Feel. I put my hand up.
Yes.
What the fuck are these things for?
So in general with autism, a large response of the autistic community, and what I want to preface this first, this is not spectrum community. Okay. This is not like spectrum would be like, what's his name from Big Bang Theory?
Sheldon,
right. Like the functional guy in society that's like odd kind of thing, right? So you have two different types of the pumpkins this year. One is a representation, the blue color to represent.
So when I see this, I know this kid's got.
Yes, Well,
why do I need to know this?
Because they may act in a certain way.
How much interaction? I'm just putting candy in there. What I have to have? I got to get to know the kid now.
Well, no. What it is that if you are diagnosably autistic, you may have
a paintbrush, like Dice said.
You have some stimming issues. You have stimulatory issues or anything, which could cause
what's stimming?
A stimulation.
Oh, okay.
That's like if when you see them, this is the thing is that this generation has like muddied the waters with like spectrum versus.
Can I ask you a question
autism.
quickly? But my cousin, R.I.P., when he used to watch sports, he would be rubbing his legs like uncontrollably like this.
Yeah.
Was he stimming?
That's a stimulatory behavior. Everybody does something. Every human has a stimming like behavior. What I'm talking about is when my individuals classically, like some of them will do this thing. I don't know if you can see me on the screen, but like
I can see what you're doing.
Or they do this kind of thing, or they start with the hands or they rock, you know what I mean? And it's a fixed movement oftentimes that is just so repetitive all the time. And they're doing that kind of, and when they get overstimulated, what happens is they just verbally express themselves or sometimes physically express themselves. And so the idea behind those blue pumpkins, that's pumpkin type 1. The blue pumpkins are to let
there's different pumpkins now?
The tactile ones I mentioned before, that's more for like private use kind of thing. I'll get in a second. This is so when they come to the door, you can kind of just, you can be aware and maybe like you lower your volume or,
my volume
action, whatever it is, you're just a little more concerned with where they are with that. The tactile pumpkins are for people with any intellectual disabilities. If you want to carve a pumpkin, right? Like you don't want to give a knife to, someone with an intellectual disability.
It is eating a pumpkin.
Yeah. So the tactile pumpkins are kind of like these, like
that's the tactile pumpkin.
Types. No, that's not a tactile pumpkin. That's just a kid chewing on a pumpkin.
This is something I did as a kid.
No, tactile pumpkins are they're kind of like Mr. Potato Heady. They have two sides and they have two different faces, and you can kind of pull out the eyes, and then it makes the eye sockets and those, that. But they're non-aggressive, like non. I don't know. What it is this. When we work with that population, the advocacy is that you don't do it for them. You guide them to do it. That's how they grow.
Okay.
So if I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, we're going to do, we're going to carve pumpkins. And then I bring in pumpkins, I whip out a bunch of knives and I have them all sit on the couch. And I just start chopping those things up. They've learned nothing. They've done nothing. They've gained nothing from that. But if you bring those pumpkins in and you let them kind of do it, then they can do it. And it's a sensory thing. And then this way, it's also not harmful. You don't need tools. You don't need, so it's like that. But there's a lot of that. So the blue pumpkins are one thing. I know some people have like the porch lights that represent that there's an autistic kid in the house. This way, if police or someone come over, they even do that with dogs. Believe it or not, there's a certain, if you are training a dog for, let's say, like service, there's a certain color light bulb or like a little door thing to encourage you to not touch the dog, because service dogs need to be trained to act exactly as commanded. So that's why when you see the vests on them, it says, please don't pet me. I'm a service dog in training. They don't want to be pet, because the thing is they have to be trained specifically to respond to their owner. Their owner may be someone with an impairment, either deaf or blind, something along those lines. And if you just start going up like I do, like I full-blown molest dogs. I love dogs so much.
You're molesting dogs.
I'm like, oh my God, those are good boy. That's a nightmare for the trainers, because they need the dog to have a maintenance level of social behavior so that they are the same even keel when they are out in public versus in private, and they can respond to the owners that they're going to be with. And so they do have those things you can put on door, like your door, if you come to the house of a service. So this way you kind of know, they have a lot of stuff like that. There's stuff you can put out to let the cops know,
As I continue this line of stupid questions, are there autistic dogs?
I mean, the only thing, and I'm going to say this as an open statement, there is absolutely scientific proof at the moment that same-sex partnerships exist. I mean, male, female, etc. Within nature. As far as any level of neurological impairment, the only thing we really know is what we call just like preventative stuff. Certain animals can't get cancers. Certain animals can't have strokes or neural events. Certain dogs do have neural issues that we are aware of. Typically, they're the more violent dogs or the guard dogs. They have a penchant to be more aggressive, and that's why people use them like that. Now, but beyond that, there's no real way of telling if there's anything.
Okay, well, I want to go back to the candy thing, because we grew up with candies. We could talk about candies and cereals and all that kind of food that we grew up with. I remember back in the day, which was 1975, when candy was like a quarter.
Oh yeah,
and then for the premium, the king size was 50 cents.
Yep,
but you could get like 4 for, I don't know, 75 at Rite Aid or something.
100%.
Yeah. But then I was trying to think of the first 50-cent candy bars. I think the Reggie bar was 50 cents.
Probably. And then I think I could tell you this: it was definitely Hershey's was the first one to make the big jump for that.
Oh,
okay. They marketably, they realized they could make money. And I could tell you what their first one was that was actually over 50 cents. They were putting out, you could always get Reese's peanut butter cups in the singles or the 2-pack.
Right.
They put out the 3-pack.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that.
Remember the 3? And the 3-pack was 65 cents. Wow. So you're like, ooh, okay. But if you're paying 50 for the 2, it's kind of like,
I'll go for
$1. And that's exactly what it was. They eventually did away with the 3-pack and just immediately made the king size the 4-pack, and then kind of ramped up from there.
Yeah. What's your candy of choice right now? What's your favorite candy right now?
I don't eat sugar anymore.
Oh, that's right. You're doing the Neanderthal diet.
But carnivore.
Carnivore.
Sorry. But having said that,
you mentioned Neanderthal before. I'm still on that.
My favorite chocolate company in the world is Cadbury. They are, oh my God. Second to them would be Lindt as far as chocolate. My favorite candy bar is a whatchamacallit.
Love a whatchamacallit.
I love whatchamacallit. My God.
It's got everything you need.
Dude, whatever sorcery created that, it was Oh my God. And I remember the commercials. The first round of commercials had the grandmothers from the Where's the Beef in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Clarabella?
they that's what was getting them, was that they did the thing and they're handing the case. This kid comes out, he's like, "Hey, grandma, can I have my chocolate bar?" And she's like, "Whatchamacallit?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's it." And they're like, "Wait, whatchamacallit?" And they just give this back. It was a clever bit. And then he's like, "Oh," and then he goes and gets it, like, which was funny. He dragged the chair over, he climbs up, he opens the cabinet, like, which every kid, back in the day.
Oh
did.
yeah, that was a big.
And he knew where it was, and then he was like, "Yeah," and you just see him unwrap, and then and then his buddy comes over, he's like, "Hey, what is that?" He goes, "It's whatchamacallit." He goes, "Right, what's his name?" He's like, "Whatchamacallit." He's like, "All right, fine, don't tell me." And he just, and then that was it. Whatchamacallit is one of the only candy bars that was never obstructed. They never made it bigger. They never made it smaller. It's a standalone until about 8 years ago or something. They finally made a chocolate whatchamacallit. But it was just its own thing. And there it is. Oh my God.
He's jonesing right now.
Dude, it has everything you want in it. It's got the Rice crisp, the caramel, a little bit of peanut butter. It's got the chocolate. It's fantastic.
I was talking to Ballinor early before Ballinor, the producer, our awesome producer here. Before, do you remember the Marathon Bar?
Yeah.
The Marathon Bar was a marathon. There it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Wow. 15-cent marathon. Oh, off a 6-pack. I love these things.
Yeah.
They were chewy.
They were another one. Like, if you look into the fun hit, because the little pinnings and the holes and everything, all of that was, those were mistake runs, and then they just figured, screw it. Yeah. That's like Nerds. Little fun fact about Nerds. Nerds are the byproduct of another candy. I forget I forget which candy it is that they have to make in order to get the Nerds. But what happens is the candy gets sculpted in its processing, and it chips off all the little nuggies, and they end up at the bottom of the vat. And one of the guys that worked in the factory was like, I mean, these are still good. So they would just give them out to the factory workers to take home. And, you'd take them home in a little bucket or something. And all their kids were like, "Oh my God, it's amazing." So they started packaging it. And then they hired these specific guys to come up with the boxes that used to be able to, they had two sides, right? One flavor on one side, one on the other. And you would just pull the little sleeve. And Nerds are, now $1 million, billion dollar.
Yeah, I mean, those are so big with the
kids. But they are the direct result of a mistake of another very popular candy.
Marathon, and then there was the Charleston Chew.
Charleston Chews. Oh, toffee, so good. The strawberry, the chocolate, the vanilla.
You put them in the freezer. Yeah. You can hit somebody over the head with it. Use it as a weapon.
Oh yeah. Well, that was the thing. Some of the candy back in the day had those little rules or the other bonuses, right? You could put the Charleston Chews in the freezer. My mom used to. So, have you ever made a malt without making malt powder, but you use what the hell?
Interesting.
What is the name of the candy? Everybody gives them out every year.
The Whoppers?
Whoppers. You can make a drink from Whoppers. So you take boiling water, you put a couple of Whoppers in, 4 or 5 Whoppers in a mug. You pour the boiling water over it. It melts down the chocolate, and then it dissolves the malt. Add a little bit of milk, and you got a hot malt. And that's because the inside of the Whopper comes from malt composite, which they used to make a malted from at soda shops.
Yeah.
All sorts of weird little.
Have you ever had a actual malt shake?
I have. Yeah.
They're really delicious.
They are fantastic.
Animal.
I had that in the same place I had, because again, I'm a good little Brooklyn boy, my egg cream, which has neither egg in it.
Yeah.
That's the name is just wacky, but some of the original ones had egg in it, but
right.
The old soda shops, I used to love that stuff. What's a Cherry Ricky? Ricky Fizz. What that? It's a cherry and lime Ricky. You know, that was another thing.
Yes, yeah, I've been lime Ricky. Yes, that was it.
And yeah, oh, there it is. Look at that. That's like a gourmet one.
You know? It looks high end.
That was stuff, you know, people did what they could back then. You know, if you had different syrups and everything, and you know, especially
and seltzer, which was pretty cheap.
Yeah. Oh yeah, seltzer was everywhere. Just carbonated water.
And you used to go to the drugstore.
Yep.
To get these things, and they called the guy a soda jerk who worked the fountain.
The first time I ever had it, my nana brought me up to our local
Your
mall.
good-looking nana?
My good-looking nana, not the grandma. Okay. Not that my grandmother was. Well,
all right. Well, listen, grandma's a grandma.
Don't be guilting on my nanny. You know.
But, no.
She worked at McCrory's in the Smith Haven Mall.
Oh yeah, I love
they used to have a soda fountain.
They did. Yeah.
Belly counter. And she would bring me up there. She worked there in the fabric department. She was a big crafts person.
Wow.
Yeah, and so she would bring me up there. And
what across from Time Out, your other hangout?
Oh, well, that came later.
Yeah, McCrory's came later.
There was a guy named Elmer Joe or Elmer John.
His man's name was Elmer Joe.
Elmer John, I think, was his name, and he was the guy who worked the counter, and he would just hook me up, and you know, he'd make me like BLT sandwiches, and he'd
what
make
a youth, what a young life you had. People hooking you up at McCrory's.
You know, I think I had as an expansive a life as I had because, again, my parents were doing the best they could. And I was one of those kids, like I would get in trouble on the school ride home on the bus. Like we needed a bus monitor. So, and then I was also going into avenues that my parents were not used to. Like I was into horror movies, I was into sci-fi, I was into heavy metal, I was into punk rock. This was like brand new ground for them. So they kind of always wanted me to keep busy.
Right.
You know, but I love my nana. My nana is, you know, just to put it out, she was the single greatest human being I have ever known. I would kill a family of 12 to get her back for one day just to be able to introduce her to my kids and my wife.
All right. Well,
she was my all-time closest family member and was for a lot of reasons, but a lot of wisdom came from her. So, you know, like if my girlfriend, if she didn't give the approval, dude, they were gone.
They were gone.
Didn't even wait, man. If you don't like my dog and my nana doesn't give you the thumbs up, you're out. I don't care how hot, you know.
All right.
You know, yeah, she knew stuff, you know. But the soda jerks were great, man. Mixing that stuff up, you know, get a little ice cream in there, a little root beer.
Oh, yeah, it's good. Just to go on the record, my favorite candy right now is the Take 5.
Take 5's great.
Yes, yeah. I like a Take 5. I really haven't found anything that I will tell you candies I do not like. I'm not a big fan of the circus peanut.
Really? Okay.
The Mary Jane.
They're like a marshmallow.
Yeah.
Deposit thing, you know.
I think Joe Rockhead likes them because he's a nut job.
Big love to Joe.
You remember the candy cigarettes from the ice cream man?
Absolutely. You could blow a smoke puff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had such
similar. They had a little bit of powdered sugar in them, so you know you could and then you could. Yep. Oh yeah, man.
Some of them actually even had red tips at the end.
Yes, they did. Yeah. Yes, they did.
And it was such like a subliminal marketing. We didn't know as a
kid. It absolutely was. Yeah, they are Lucky Lights. That's
Lucky Lights.
Yeah, and look, if you really look, they all kind of like Victory looks like Parliament. Kings look like Marlboro.
Of course.
You know, Lucky is obviously Lucky, but you know. So what's funny is these candies for us, we could only get them from my ice cream man.
Yes, that's where I predominantly remember getting them from.
Yeah. And the ice cream man had stuff that was wild that we could.
Oh yeah, it was wild west.
100%. Yeah.
Whatever they could sell.
Yeah.
I mean, they would sell stuff on the down low, like firecrackers and stuff.
Oh, dude, my guy used to sell beer.
Beer?
Yeah. If you asked for a golden bear, when you went up, he knew what you wanted, and it was like $2, and he'd sell you a Miller or a Bud. If you asked for a brown bear, you got a Bud. If you asked for, a yellow bear, you got the Miller. Yeah, he would sell.
Wow, that I gotta say, you really had
dude, he was
much
this
more
guy,
advanced neighborhood than me.
He looked like Danny Trejo, you know?
Oh yeah, the
With
guy from
long
the Slayer
hair,
videos and
mustache hanging down, right?
yeah,
And this
Machete.
mustache thing,
He was
playing
Machete.
metal, fucking hard rock, metal, glam rock all the time. Neon flashing lights. Had this wild ice cream man thing. He'd prop it up. He'd take like the two stands, hike up the the little overhang. He had fucking stickers everywhere of the stuff he was offering on the roof, the everything. And as kids, he was making so much bank from selling joints and selling beer that when we would go up as a kid and I'd be like, oh, I have 75 cents. He'd be like, yeah, man. And he would just take those 3/4, scoop his fucking hand into like whatever we wanted. And you'd get a pile of candy.
Right.
I would get my, the Chinese, the fortune gum, in the little orange
Oh
thing.
yeah.
The Astro Pops, which is just straightforward sugar. That's just
Right.
like craziness. Like all of the candy cigarettes, all of that. He didn't care. He loved it. When he started seeing me wearing like band shirts, he came around the neighborhood more. And he would hook it up. You know what I mean? And then eventually I run into him at Pete's, which I was trying to tell that story last time, with the his backyard party in the basement with the arcade stuff. He was a local dude, and he would also go up to all the carnivals, and he just knew us. He knew the vibe and everything. A lot of my friends in the neighborhood had older sisters that were very attractive, so he was coming around for that. And he made bank. He would come and park at the corner, be there half hour. You know what I mean? And like literally, it was not a thing that was a concern that I saw dudes going up and buying beer from. We thought this was normal. We would get fireworks from it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember that, the fireworks.
He would pull up this piece of cardboard and it had all the, his offerings like taped to it, So if you want jumping jacks, you can get jumping jacks. You want like lotuses, you get them. You want the firecrackers, you want whatever it is you wanted. And he would just pull it up. He'd have everything protected. So when you looked in, you couldn't really see it. But if you knew what to ask for, and he also eventually knew safe neighborhoods, which we were a safe neighborhood. I remember having that conversation where he said, what are your neighbors like? And the first thing out of my mouth was how all my father and all the neighbors described is, oh, we're an old city neighborhood. Everybody here is related somehow, And he's like, oh, where you guys were from? And he's like, well, this side's all from Brooklyn, this side's from Queens. He's like, all right, we're good. And he just knew, like, we're not calling the cops on my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to happen. Right, so he would come around and the candy was, oh my God, was like, amazing. And the ice cream was fantastic.
Did you have the Circus Surprise? Do you remember this ice cream? It was like a raspberry sherbet, and you, after getting done with the sherbet, you would get I guess the stick or the handle was a plastic stick. It would be an animal, and it could be yeah. And my in order to drive up sales, let's see if we can pull this one. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right. In there, I think there's a monkey in there somewhere in there. But if you got the monkey, my guy offered you could get a free Circus Surprise if you got the monkey. So you would so you'd be, and he probably knew which ones the monkey were. You buy like 4 at a time just to get like a free one. Yeah, the Circus Surprise. That was quite a good. Yeah, they were very inventive to make money.
They were
ice cream man, because they had to buy the whole route thing was they had to buy all their stuff from a wholesaler at like crazy prices.
Oh yeah, no, there's warehouses all over the place. Yeah. One of my old paintball teammates, we called him Coffee Truck Eddie because he ran the coffee truck. He ran the roach coach, and he needed help, and I was like, dude, I'll work for free. I don't give a fuck, man. I'll come help you out. Right. And we went, and he needed help with loading refrigerated stuff and all that. And those warehouses are mind blowing. Like you drive past them, you have no idea what you're looking at, and then you go inside and you see the intricacy of the amount of stuff. It's what basically I always see. I knew about those when I was younger, so when like Costco and BJ's came out, I was like, oh, I've already been here.
Right.
But wholesaler is similar but different, but yeah, man, they'd have to pick all that stuff up. And so, they want to make that money. And in a lot of ways, I think that's why he started selling the beer. He didn't have to get it from there. You know, you could get a suitcase of bud and like, you know, you make a bank on that. You know, $2 a beer. They don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? But you know, I do like Miller High Life. You know what I mean? That's my go-to lowbrow beer. It's $5.99 for a 6-pack. If you're selling that for $2 a piece, you just made that and more. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but yeah, they had all sorts of craziness. You know what I mean? Those Fireball cinnamon gumballs. The big gumballs or anything, Jawbreakers. That was the
and then
first
they
thing.
started coming out with remember the Pac-Man ice cream? They had Pac-Man
Absolutely.
with a gumball. Was it a gumball?
With the gumball ice.
That one with the was a frog too, as I remember.
Yeah, they had the frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, the frog was like a lime.
Very interesting novel ideas they would come up with.
Oh yeah. My guy used to sell those the WWE.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Right? And if you got Macho Man, he'd give you a free one. Or he'd give you an ice cream of your choice or free candy, something, you know, because they came with like a little card coming, and you had to, you know, he'd take the card back, but whatever. But he was a big wrestling guy. I was a big wrestling guy back in the 80s. You know, again, they were like the real life superheroes back then. And Macho Man's always been my favorite wrestler. So I was like constantly like debating, like, oh, I want the free ice cream, but I really want the card.
Have you ever heard of Dan Soder?
Dan Soder.
He's a comedian, actor. He does a Macho Man impersonation. I would like to look him up.
Yeah.
He does a pretty good one, but I want an expert to give me his opinion on him. Check him out on YouTube.
Yeah, I will. I do a lot of impressions. I'm not going to start that ramp up.
Wow, you're a man of
voices and twist ups, and I respect guys that do impressions.
He does. He's good. He's a good actor too. He was in the show Billions.
Oh, I know of it, but I've never seen it.
Okay. Yeah. All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk about some music here. In the upcoming weeks, I'm going to talk about a couple of books that my hair is falling out as we speak. I've been reading a couple of books about some musical characters, and I've finished this book. I consider myself not the expert, but pretty much one of the experts on the new wave band, The Cars.
Right on.
This is the book that I just completed. Let the Stories Be Told. Now,
very nice.
The Cars were active between 1970, album-wise, from 78 to 87.
Right.
Not a long, storied career like the Stones or Floyd.
They got known, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, they emerged from the ashes, and a really grassroots story. And this book, I find, is the definitive telling of all the personalities, because there is a throng of fans out there that, I guess for every group, I'm sure, like groups like, I don't know, Gene Loves Jezebel, I'm sure they've got fans, or sometimes a band will come along at a juncture of your life, and you stick with them, and
absolutely,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, are there any like maybe bands that I wouldn't associate with you? Like, I know you're into different types of music, but like a band that I would not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have a lot of those, kind of like I derailed for a moment and it just went hard kind of thing. Ironically, I really love a lot of like synth pop stuff too. I'm a big Duran Duran guy.
Yeah.
Heart. Oh my God, love Heart.
Really?
And one of my favorite things about the Christmas season is my beautiful angel, Miss Carpenter. I am a massive, massive Carpenters fan, especially for her. I think she's had the single greatest female singing voice in the history of music.
It's funny that you should mention Karen Carpenter.
Yeah, I love
not
her.
Sabrina Carpenter.
No.
Although I do appreciate.
I forgot she's like a thing. I barely know of her.
No,
yes,
I would say Sabrina Carpenter's talent.
God bless.
But not Karen Carpenter. Rick Ocasek, who was the lead singer was a big Karen Carpenter.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
So the first time I was ever introduced to her was from on a videotape that my dad had of her playing drums.
Yeah,
and I thought, like,
I got to take on this.
A while, like, it's a chick drummer, and he's like, yeah, but she sings. And I was like, okay, and then I didn't realize it, filtered in. I knew Carpenter songs, So he put that fine point on it to me. You know what I mean? My youth in general is pretty much driven by metal and reggae, really. And then by my teenage years, it's like, all right, now we can't really go to reggae shows, can't really go to metal shows so much. We're gonna go to punk and hardcore shows, and that kind of takes me off, kind of thing. But I love music in general. I think music is the single greatest art form anyone can commit to. And live music is the single greatest form of entertainment available to us. You know, it's so expressive because there are moments in our lives where something dumb happens or something tragic happens or something impactful is the better way to put it. And there was that song playing. And now that song is, you know, it's there and it's locked in and it just becomes so important. I'll give you a great example. I cry every time I hear the song. Dead ass. I'm not even lying. No shame to it. Killswitch Engage has a song called Rose of Sharon, and it is exceptionally heavy. I mean, it's great. Killswitch Engage is amazing. It's the Howard era of Killswitch Engage, not the Jesse era. And it's all about getting more time with someone that is gone, that has left you. My Nana's favorite plant was the Rose of Sharon. And so there's certain lines in that song that when I hear them, it just triggers this response. I start like weeping because I'm like, damn, man, like I'd love to have you back. Flip side of that, something funny, Weird Al Yankovic. Dude, I love Eat It. I love Weird Al in general, but Eat It was, I had one of like a youthful worst day of my life, like my girlfriend broke up, all this dumb kid shit. But my little kid world was falling down around me, right? And then it's like starts fucking raining, everything goes wrong. The movie, you know, that we went to see was like and that song popped on, and I just laughed. All I could do was laugh. And so now to this day, I hear like Weird Al, and I'm like, hell yeah, dude!
Yeah, that saved my day.
There are so many moments. Oh, there it is. There's so many moments in everyone's life where a song becomes, you know, a thing. Someone asked me one time, they said, hey, do you have a theme song? And I said, yeah, Seven Nation Army from the White Stripes. Without even thinking, I just bat it. And they were like, really? I'm like, yep. Because that song means something to me that I'd have a whole other episode to have to try to explain to you, but it meant something.
Right.
Back in the Saddle, dude, from Aerosmith is a very meaningful song. I beat a big legal rap, and as I walked out into the hallway of that court, you know, like that's what was playing. First song popped in my car. I get suspended from school the first time. I get in my car to go home, and Life of Agony is playing. Bad Seed. You know what I mean? So that forever to this day is now, you know, that's that song kind of thing. And I believe that music in general, especially when it's avant-garde, and especially when it's not in your zone, is even more important. There was an amazing early A&R guy named Tony LaPuma, and he was quoted as saying, if it makes my butt shake, it's a good song, and I'm gonna get a record contract for him. And that's my whole thing, is a good song is a good song. That's the bottom line. I don't care who it comes from, what band it comes from. A good ass song is a good ass song. It's the bottom line. I may have made fun of boy bands in the past, but they're laughing all the way to the bank. They have millions and millions of fucking dollars. You know, crap on it all you want. I was at a bar and this band was playing, and they're like, if anyone wants to come up for any of these next three, come up and do it. And it was one of these, whatever band Harry Styles was in.
One Direction.
One Direction. And it was that song, You Don't Know You're Beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Right. And that song is banging. That's a great song. It's just got a perfect beat. Everything about it lines up. I got up and did the song with them. I was like, oh, I know this whole thing. Like, you know, it's great. But I like the odds. I like the odd and ends, little, the weird kind of trinket music and everything. Like I said, finding out you like the Cars. That's tremendous. You know, that definitely deepens my respect for you and everything with that. Well, I know. No, I mean it because I know too many people that are pigeonholed. Like, without a doubt, I have friends in various scenes. You know, I got a buddy who listens to DJ music, like freestyle. That's all he listens to. He will not variate, dude.
I think you have to have an eclectic music style.
I'll give you a great example. Joe Rock. we'll be talking at Joe Rock, man. We'll be talking at a show. And I start singing a song, sound like the radio playing in the background. He's like, what is this? I was like, what do you get?
Well, he gets on me because I don't know a lot of 90s stuff. But I was just not there.
I love Joe. You know I love you, baby.
Yeah,
but it's just a good point. Like he's a musician. But he's a musician, right? So we almost project this false image, like, oh, he's a musician, he's in a band, he should know. But he has no reason to know that if he doesn't.
He knows a lot of stuff.
He knows an enormous amount of stuff. But it's just kind of funny, like, did we go there? And then he throws it back at me. He's like, well, you know all that music. I'm like, all right. But
with this band, you have to understand the time. If you're a music historian, if you're into the history of rock and roll, this is a pivotal, and we'll get more into this in the next show, but I want to explore this more and get your takes as a guy who's just doesn't know anything, maybe can, relate it to some other bands or personas you've met there. But this is the advent of FM radio, which I grew up on AM radio, and then around, I guess, 1977.
Yeah, I was going to say
FM radio. Yeah, it started to become, I can listen to the Talking Heads. They're not crossing the top 40. Casey Kasem.
It kind of went beyond like what CBS radio was off.
Exactly. Now it's album oriented, rock or whatever.
Very thematic, very genre stuff.
Right. This is where I listen to Queen. This is where I listen to Queen kind of cracked the top, but I'm talking like. So 1978 is really the year in which Elvis Costello comes on the scene.
Oh, yeah.
The Cars come on the scene. There's a lot of I'm getting out of focus there. There's the Cars later in the years.
The man himself right in the middle.
Yes, R.I.P. R.I.P. both the guys in the middle there. There's only 3 of them left.
So this picture, he always reminded me of not Stretch Armstrong, Plastic Man. That's ever since I was a kid, I was like, oh yeah, Plastic Man. No, it's Ocasek. It's Ocasek,
Yeah, and he lied about his age. Like at this point, he's in his 30s. And,
wow.
Yeah, and this is 77, 78.
Yeah.
So he also I don't want to get too deep into it. But this is an early photo. This is before they hit. You always can tell the keyboardist, the Greg Hawkes there with the spectacles in the middle. He's got a mustache. Yeah. He only sported that early on. But just getting back to it, they were an FM band. They were probably one of the best debuts ever. If you ever get a chance to listen to their debut album by any band. Any band, I will go, because they were just all over the place. So, I mean, all over the radio. And so I've read the book, and it's hard when you learn the personal failings.
I absolutely agree with that.
What I used to know, I almost didn't want to read the book because I wanted to keep that image that I had concocted in my mind, but
that's you never meet your heroes,
right?
But
it's they're human beings and they had faults. I mean, just because they had, and this is a band that it's not like the Beatles where the microscope has been on them.
Oh yeah.
So many books have been written, and so
wow,
look,
the Beatles are a fantastic arrangement of musicians, but they are as big as they are because they did what they did at the time when no one was really doing that. They would be dime a dozen by today's standard. I'm not diminishing their value and what they brought to music. Obviously, the Beatles are the Beatles, but when you figured, I read something that record companies gave out 3 record contracts a year back then,
right?
So you didn't have this enormity of bands that you have now, this enormity of artists where every time you turn on fucking YouTube, it's 25 other, metal band,
Right.
So it was limited because we wanted excellence over anything else, and they needed to sell. You know, I mean, granted, what they do though with the fanaticism and they're British and the girls fainting, I mean, I don't even know if that could even exist in today's world. But you know, for what they did back then, yeah, there's 1,000 documentaries, there's a billion people that, you know, but something like the Cars were very impactful for our age group. You know what I mean? I heard them all over the place, and they were unique. One song didn't necessarily sound like the other. You know what I mean?
So there were different periods of
Yeah.
their evolution or de-evolution, which it wound
Yeah.
up in the end that they basically there's a lot of aspects like when you start a band. Let me get your opinion on this. You're starting a band. You got a band. It's you and you're the songwriter. You're writing the songs. You're coming up with the basic skeletal. You're writing lyrics and the skeletal
music form.
Music.
Yeah.
And then the band comes in and they add their parts and this and that. They do their thing. Would you be a guy that say, listen, let's split this equally? Let's
So interesting, very interesting question, and I can absolutely answer that completely. So I was in a band. I've actually been in 2 bands.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I am not as well equipped skill wise. I'm a better drummer than anything else, but even then I'm mediocre. So I always did vocals because I knew what I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I always left it. You write the music, I write the lyrics. That's it, right? And I always assumed that was the pathology of every band. So it was kind of like mind blowing to me growing up listening, especially like Anthrax is one of my all time favorite bands. Knowing that Scott Ian writes all the music and the lyrics, I was like, holy shit. You know, when you find out who in the band is doing the writing, I'm saying to myself, why would you want to be a singer in a band that you don't write the lyrics? You know, like it's your voice. You want to do
your expression.
And then I found it like with Alice in Chains, it was the same thing. Jerry Cantrell writes everything.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh, that okay. But like Lane sings it with so much love and in that heart.
Soul. He's a vessel.
Oh, yeah. So I think it's, would I be available to sing someone else's lyrics in a band that I was with? For me, no, because I wouldn't want to see myself personally in that position. Not that it needs to be about me, but I have also seen other people's writing sometimes. Like it's sometimes some of the other band guys would bring me stuff and I'd be like,
but when I'm asking you, I guess the question I'm asking you monetarily.
Oh, money wise.
Monetarily.
So, okay, that's in it. I genuinely believe the players should be getting the most amount of money.
Okay.
You write the lyrics, that's fine, but the workload is happening in the band.
But I'm coming up with the bare bones. I'm just playing. I'm doing. I'm playing devil's advocate. I've come out with the melody. I've come up with the chorus.
Oh well, then,
and I've played this on acoustic guitar, and
yeah.
I've got the lyrics for the song, and I submit it to the band.
Right. Well, I mean, in general, I think royalty should just be split equally. You got 5 members, you divide by 5. I mean, that's the bottom line for that. But if I know where you're going with this, because it seems like with a lot of these bands, they get bigger, and then all of a sudden there's writing stakes.
Right.
It's a little tricky. If you created all of it, and then they just sort of brought in a little bit to refine it, it's still your song. You're still that guy, you know what I mean? Because you could still bring that skeletal form to another group of players and you'd still get a final product.
Right.
And they have, again, you're providing the, you know what I mean? Like you can't pay someone who puts, 2 chefs in the kitchen. One guy actually puts all the ingredients together. The other guy just puts it in the oven. You know, you can't pay the dude that just puts it in the oven as much as the other guy. I don't know if that dynamic exists on a lot of local.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't think money ever really comes into.
I mean, that's the reason we have Megadeth and Metallica. You know, aside from the fact that they had an alcohol problem, is fucking 4 Horsemen and Mechanics. Dave wrote that shit, and he wanted the credit. He wanted his thing.
Right.
You know,
I think the reason I asked that is because in the Cars. Rick Ocasek had, maybe 6 6 or 7 bands that he wrote songs for that were unsuccessful.
Right.
And when the Cars hit, he was the sole songwriter. He was the sole publishing rights. None of the other band members were credited with anything except the keyboardist on like one song. Yeah. So the financial disparity grew so large. And
they're not going to deal with that.
Right. And what happened is out of just, I don't know, maybe just not wanting to cause friction, they never confronted him.
Right. Well, you got the Misfits, same scenario. You got Danzig writing everything. White Zombie. Rob technically writes everything, right? Or eventually started doing that, took it away. And so what you're doing is you're saying to yourself, all right, I'm a bass player, I'm a drummer. I get paid to tour around the world. Do I want to rock the boat for he gets 3 points, I get 1? Some people do, some people don't. It's what split Journey up in another, you know what I mean? He wanted a little, I don't know what that's like, because the thing is, the bands that I know legitimately happened organically. They all kind of knew each other. I think like it happens when you put that ad out and you're like, hey, singer needs bands, and then you get guitar from over here and the drum from over there and then the bass one, and no one knows each other, but you're capable of forming that. You start to get different, stakes and claims, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas, it doesn't so much happen in like punk and hardcore. I've never known a band that's broken up over money in that. I'm sure they have.
It's not much money made.
You're a bunch of bass rate shitheads from the same high school that all skate together, and you're like, fuck it, let's do a bit. You know what I mean? That's how that happens,
But I think
with actual bands, I'm always surprised when those kind of groups come together like that, when it's like, oh yeah, we put an ad out and this guy just came in and this guy, I mean, look at Motley Crue. That's what's going on with that. Mick was over here, Nicky was over there, and they put the ad out. They didn't know each other. They kind of knew each other a little bit, 1 or 2 of them did, but over enough time, you get enough success, people start putting stakes in that money. You know what I mean? Money divides everybody. Money divides families, But I could see also with the Ocasek thing, if he's had failure, boom, success, but it's not just success. This is like Cars level. You know what I mean? Like he's there.
Dude, that's 7 million albums sold.
And you've been broken all of those other times. That you're claiming that's your music. That's the bottom fucking line. No matter who played anything on anything, that's your thing. That's yours. And you're claiming that. That isn't exactly how it is or how it should be, but I mean, I could see that happening. Absolutely. It's like
I mean, and you got people, he sings most of the songs. He's it seems like, again, I'm going to go into the next show, and I hope you're with me for the next show or wherever I want to go into depth in this, because I think a lot of people will be interested, because you've got, you could relate to other bands, but I may not know the history of it. I am a Rick Ocasek devotee. I am unabashed. I thought my interactions with him in real life were like you said, we were talking about never meet your heroes. They were just as I thought they were.
He's
very what he was. He was.
Yeah. I mentioned that before the show. Like I shook his hand at CBGB's one time, but was not a dick. He was very forthcoming, very cool.
Apparently, he was authentic.
Yeah.
But then now I find out, well, maybe he wasn't to everybody. But we'll talk about that later. We're at the end of our show here, Chris. Once again,
wow, that went quick, man.
Hour and 15 minutes of straight chat, Halloween candy.
Well, at least we got it this time, because last time we
did good. We did good with the 10. I know Joe Rockhead.
We were ordering through the drive-through last time, and like that was a mess. So
and I know Ballinor is tired. He's had a long day, and But once again, an absolute pleasure talking to you,
Oh,
man.
thank you.
It
Truly,
goes really
thanks for having me
fast.
back, man.
And I appreciate you making the time, just to shoot
Oh,
the shit
always,
with me here
always.
on iHeart.
I'm here for you, brother. You
Yeah,
know?
I know. It's just like we're hanging out at the shows
Yeah.
talking,
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'd love to come back if your audience is good with it, man.
they're all fired up in here.
They're all like,
So-
"Oh, fuck that guy," you know.
No.
Yeah.
Trust me. If you were a dud, they would have told. They would
Yeah.
tell. Well, thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much, Balinor.
Absolutely.
Once again, you pulled up all the topics, and thanks for all the graphics and your help. And we're going to get more into this, and I want to try to get the author on the show.
On the show, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to him. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and
Cool.
he did a lot of he did exhaustive research.
Yeah.
I had a chance to meet him. I went up to Boston to when he had an autograph session, not an autograph, but a book signing session with two of the members, and I got to ask questions to the members and stuff.
Oh,
yeah, I'm like I have an insatiable appetite for any knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's still
learning is power.
hobbies.
Knowledge is power, man. Last thing I'll say here, my favorite character, one of my favorite movie characters is the Merovingian from The Matrix.
Yes.
He's an information guru. And I just click with that. You know what I mean? When you come to me, I want you to come correct. I want to have an intellectual back and forth. When you come to me with nothing, you have nothing. You have no power. There's no conversation here. I motivate to intelligent conversation and everything. I love learning. I love knowledge. I was fascinated to find out you like the cars. It does. I meant it. It elevates you, and I like talking about the non-predictable topics that people have, I get called, oh, he's the hardcore guy and everything, but it's like, much. I mean, I am
a lot more depth than that,
and when I was younger, it was one thing getting the title. Now I'm like, I go to everything, and I love that everything. People are shocked that I listen to reggae, and I listen to
I know you're a big reggae guy.
And they're like, "What's up with the white guy?" But it's just a thing, you know what I mean? It clicked and it stuck with me, and but I love talking music, especially. And I was gonna say like O'Kasich or anything. I know he's even written a couple of songs that other artists have done. I love finding that stuff out. You know what I mean? Prince wrote so many songs he gave to other bands. Bruce Springsteen gave him that.
Yes,
that's
Prince
wild.
Did a version of "Let's Go" by the Cars in his live performances.
Yes, he does.
And Ziggy Marley did a version of "Drive."
Really?
Yes.
Ooh, I'll have to look that up. Okay.
Yeah, that's right up.
That's right up my alley.
Okay.
I'm not a huge Ziggy guy, but I like the other Marley.
I mean, I'm
no, Damien's like my dude. I love Damien Marley. You know what I mean? But like Ziggy's good too. I'll look into it though. So.
All right, my friend. I'm going to wrap things up and say goodbye to the wonderful people who joined this broadcast and listening. And we're going to come back next week. If you can do next week, same time, we'll do it again.
I'm good. We got this setup worked out.
Yeah.
All yours, brother.
Okay. So, I'm signing off now. Good night, everybody.